there, this is Diana. Welcome back to my channel. For today's little tutorial, I have Acrygel from 𝒟𝓃𝓈. I'm going to show you how I build length using the Acrygel and also their dual forms. But before I get started, I wanted to show you my setup. You see this little lamp right here? So it is on like a little swivel arm, but it's an LED lamp, so it's going to cure your nail art, any gels essentially, and it clamps onto my table. This has saved me so much grief because when I'm using one of those low 𝒟𝓃𝓈 looking lamps or my regular lamp, it still sometimes makes me move, and then I create air bubbles in the dual form, which kind of sucks because then it won't last and it'll pop right off. But in essence, it's clipped to my table. There's an on and off switch here. Right here. I have this adapter that is on my table, but it has not just plugs, ports, but also USB outlets. So I have my little lamp along with a phone cable and a few other things attached to my table, so it's easy access. And when I am flash curing it for about 30 seconds and I know that the form won't move, I'm gonna be moving my hand into this regular lamp, and this is a cordless lamp by Sundara. This will allow me to go ahead and cure it all the way through. So when I'm referring to it in my tutorial, just know that I'm referring to this little mini LED lamp. Let's go ahead and get started. I have the 𝒟𝓃𝓈 Acrygel. I have a polygel brush that's dual-ended. It'll have a spatula and a brush on the other end. I'm going to be using a primer and bond-aid, and then my form. The way you're going to choose your form is that you want it to sit flush, free edge to free edge. And it's okay if it goes over a little bit because it's better to go a little bit larger than too small, because when the Acrygel is going to cure, it's going to shrink a little bit. So you want to give it a little bit of space. Now apply a primer, and this is just going to help with whatever you put on your natural nail to secure better. Go ahead and let that dry. Then the next thing I want to do is apply a base coat. I'm using the 𝒟𝓃𝓈 Delicate Gel. It's a 2-in-1 base and top coat. Apply a thin layer on your nail. The next things you're going to need is your Acrygel, your polygel brush. One end will have a spatula, which I'll hardly need with this product. And then the other end will have a brush. You're going to need your form. And then what I'd like to keep handy is a orange stick for cleanup. Now first squeeze a little tiny bead on your form. Maybe like half a pea size. I'm not going to need much here. In the brush, I'm going to brush the product to create my tip. Now if you're not looking to build length, you don't need to do this, but I found that if you're creating, you know, long extensions, it's helpful to go ahead and create structure ahead of time before you put the tip on your nail. And now squeezing a little bit more, don't much. It's not much at all. You can see here, very, very little. That's too much. That it might even be too much. But I'm gonna situate it more in the nail bed. Placing it where my cuticle is, and if I let go, it kind of sticks right there, which is really nice. Then I'm making sure that it's sitting where my cuticle is, right there. And this is I don't know what to call it. It's kind of like a thick substance, and it's like gum. You press it down and it sticks. But right now, I don't really see any spillage out at the tip. So usually I would flash cure it and then go in and after like 10 seconds and then brush out the bottom, but I don't see anything. See this technique I'm showing you, it hardly kind of spills out, and if it does, it's an easier cleanup. So I'm going to hold it down, and then I'm going to insert it, and I'll still do a flash cure for 10 seconds. And isn't this amazing? And I feel it heating up. So that's kind of giving me a flash cure. I'm gonna take my brush, and if there is product, let's squeeze, I'm gonna brush it at this time. Okay, so that's good for me. I'm gonna continue curing it here. And I'll hold it down for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, and then I'll finish curing it in my lamp for the full 60 seconds. Okay, now that that's pretty securely on, I'm gonna put it in my lamp for 60 seconds. I'm done there. Let's go ahead and just check the underside a little bit. So there is a little bit of spillage, I say, and I try to brush it out as best as possible, but I do notice that it's very, very thin. So I can do one of two things. I can, right now while the form is on, I'm gonna add a little bit of extra Acrygel just so that it creates a little bit of thickness and that it doesn't break on me. I can tell that it's thinner just because it's a lot clearer. I'll go ahead and get a little bit of extra gel on my brush. And it's easier to do it with the form on, but I've done it off too. But I'm just creating thickness underneath. It doesn't crack on me. And that's what happened with this one that I'm fixing now, is that it was a little too thin and it just kind of snapped. It didn't have any strength on it. All right, I'm happy with that. Okay, I think I got enough product on there so that it could be thick enough. Let me cure this in the lamp and I'll be right back. I'm back and I cured it in the lamp for a full 60 seconds. So I'm just gonna twist it gently back and forth and then it should kind of pop right off. Look at that, I got some on the tip and it kind of cured with it. But isn't that cool? Now that would be a cool nail trend. But I wanted to show you really quick before I snip off the tip of it. Isn't that a pretty curvature? I love how these forms, they give you like a natural apex to it. Taking some alcohol, wipe off the sticky inhibition on both the front and the back. I will snip off less than what I think I need, because oftentimes I've snipped off way too much, and as I'm filing, I file off too much. Taking a little bit of a coarser file, I'm just gonna shape the edges. And this is probably my third time using Acrygel. The first time, hotmess.com, I'll tell you guys, I got that crud everywhere. And I had to fine tune the technique a little bit, several times actually, that worked for me, because all the tutorials that I found, it was just adding Acrygel and maybe a little bit of length, but if you're going to build extensions, it's way harder. But I found a technique that kind of works, so I wanted to share it with you guys. And a little bit kind of spilled over the cuticle there. You can just take your e-file and kind of clean it off. I'm going to go in with my cuticle bit. This one is meant for cleaning the gel around your cuticle area. I have this on about a 10 to 12 RPM. And this is my dominant hand, so it's a little bit more challenging to do everything. Funny thing is, I purposely practice for the first time on my dominant hand, and I knew it would be more challenging. One, because it's my first time. Two, is because it's not my, I'm not using my good hand to do it. I'm using my non-dominant hand. And hot mess. I wanted to show you the underside. So the underside here, if it's not, it's going to be harder to show you, but there is a little bit of more thickness right in this area right here. So what I generally do is I take a cuticle bit, not this one. You certainly can. I found that this one that's meant to go around the cuticle for gel polish, it works a lot better because the teeth is more serrated. Now this one, I will go at a lower speed because it is a coarser bit. In essence, be using the flat side of the bit, not the pointy side, because then it's going to create divots and holes. But I'm slowly taking off a little bit of thickness in the areas I feel I need it. And while I'm at it, I'm trying to create that little curvature in my nail. Don't go overboard like I did. I did that and it was too thin and it snapped off in another finger. I could get a little crazy with the drill. It's easy to. If you're interested in seeing the different bits I use for different reasons, just leave me a comment below and I'll make a video on that. I'm all done with the filing. So just take your alcohol and then clean off any particles and dust that was on your nail. And if you needed to, you generally don't with the form because it's pretty flat. You could have just kind of buffed it or filed it as much as you wanted. I'm going to finish it off with a gel top coat. I change out my manis quite frequently and I use pill base, so a gel top coat will ensure that you have a slick surface for that nail to pop off. So I'm going to go in with the 2-in-1 delicate gel base and top coat. Hopefully this was helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, just drop me a comment below. Take care, and I'll catch you guys on my next video.